Speculation can be frightening, especially when we are speculating on game delays. Bummer, I know. Which is the case we've been in with Hogwarts Legacy recently. I've now seen several creators talking about why the game could be delayed and how there's no real news of a delay yet, just a rumor. Basically, we don't know if it's delayed. And right now, it's safe to assume that it is not, because that's what we know. However, with the current gaming industry trend, this is kinda up in smoke. There's been several studios that have said, yes, our game will be releasing X day, and come to find out that just wasn't the case. I want definitive facts to go off of, so I can speculate. So today, we aren't looking at Hogwarts Legacy per se, but we are going to dip dive into Avalanche Software and find some definitive answers as to whether their games typically get delayed more than once. As we know, Hogwarts Legacy has already been delayed. And, bonus, we're going to see if their games are overall a good quality. Now, I think it's important because a studio's older games really show what sort of quality they are willing to ship with. Are they willing to ship with a bunch of bugs? Are they willing to ship with some broken stuff to patch later? I think it's going to give us a great idea of the kind of quality we can expect, hopefully very high, in Hogwarts Legacy. Now again, this is not a definitive yes or no to whether Hogwarts Legacy will be delayed or be a good game, but I think it's a fun place to start, and it's fairly safe as this is based off facts of their most recent games, and, past record. So let's talk about how Avalanche Software is going to treat Hogwarts Legacy based on their most recent game releases. As a very brief history of Avalanche Studios, they were founded in 1994 by 4 programmers who were formerly known as Sculpture Software. In 2005, they were purchased by the Walt Disney Company, a very small company, and spent about 10 years developing Disney-related titles. Makes sense. In 2016, they were canceled by Disney as a current and working studio due to declining Toys to Life market. However, in 2017, Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment purchased them, and they reopened in January 2017. Okay, now that our history lesson is over, here is a complete list to all of the games produced by Avalanche Software. Mortal Kombat, 2-on-2 open ice challenges, Mortal Kombat Off-Road, Rampage, Rugrats, cool, I loved Rugrats. We got some Prince of Persia games. So there's definitely a mix of action-adventure games and single-player games, which is fantastic, especially like the Attack and the Power of Juju. Excellent game there. So they have quite the amount of games under their belt. They certainly have the experience. That is very good. Starting from Toy Story 3, the video game, published in 2010, it had very good ratings. Everything from 6 to 8 out of 10, as you see here. And there were no delays. Now, from Avalanche Software, there were no delays, but they were not a part of publishing the PS2 version, which did have a delay. But we're not going to count that against Avalanche because it wasn't their studio that did that. So as far as how I'm going to be seeing this is there was no delay. So +1 good game, +1 no multiple delays. Moving along here, we are going to be looking at Cars 2. It did come out in 2011. As far as the reviews go, it has very close reviews to the previous Toy Story 3 game. Everything from a 58 out of 100, or basically a 6 out of 10, up to a 8.5 out of 10 as the highest. But there were no delays. I looked and searched to see if there was any delays. So there's no delays as far as this game goes. So that's going to give a +1 for no delays and a +1 for good game overall. It's looking pretty good for this studio. All right, the next cash cow we're going to be looking at, the next game we're going to be looking at is Disney Infinity, the video game. And if you don't know, basically you bought some figurines from the physical world and then you could synchronize those with the game to unlock your characters. That was pretty big brain for the time of 2013. I applaud Disney for that business innovation. That was a wonderful idea. But as far as the ratings of the game, it got some pretty great ratings. It had all the way up from a 9 out of 10, several 8 out of 10, 8.5, 4 out of 5s, 4 out of 5s. Really, the lowest one I saw was a 6 out of 10 and a 2.5 out of 5. So overall, it was a very good game, very well received. All right, so there was a delay for this game. It looks like the PC version was delayed until November instead of January, like the initial release. So I do think we're going to count that against them, though, because any delay is not going to be good. We want every version that they are responsible for, because as far as Hogwarts Legacy goes, it's going to release on all these consoles, so we want to make sure that it releases for everyone at the same time. So this is going to get a +1 in good overall and a -1 in delays, because it looks like it did receive 2 delays for this game. Currently we're at a +3 for good overall games and a +2 for the delays. Still looking pretty good for Avalanche. All right, so the next game here is going to be Disney Infinity 2.0, the successor of the 1.0, or the original Disney Infinity, and it as well did almost as good. I'm seeing a lot more 6 and 7s out of 10, not quite the 8 and 9s that we saw previously, and overall very well received, and I would say a good game. There was no talk on delays. I did Google to see if there was any delays in this. It looks like they had everything in order and there were no delays. So +1 good, +1 to no delays. All right, and then Disney Infinity 3.0, man, they went hard on this cash cow. I mean, video game series. Clearly, it's gotta be huge for them to sell the toys, and then you unlock the character from actually physically buying the core. They don't even, see, Disney's so good, they don't even need microtransactions. You're going to buy the physical product, and we're going to hit you with microtransactions. We're going to get you in both. But this game did very well. It was all of the 8 to 9 out of 10s. Very well received, and no delays at all. So all 3 of the Disney Infinity games did very well. Until, of course, 2016, when they pretty much started ending everything because the sales just stopped. So that is a +1 for good game and a +1 for no delays. And the last game we're going to look at from Avalanche Software is going to be Cars 3 Driven to Win. The release on this is June the 13th, 2017. The overall reception of this game was not that great. You're looking at about a 4 or 5 out of 10, up to a 70 for the PS4 version. As far as delays go for Cars 3, I found no real delays. It just released in different places on different days, but all in about the same time span from June 14th through June 17th. So yeah, that's going to get a +1 to no delays. So because it's really only a 5 out of 10 and that's an average game, we're going to give that a -1. It was not a good game. We are looking for good games. So it's going to get a -1 for not being a good game, and then a +1 for no delays. So as far as the overall number goes, it does look like we are at a 4 and 4. Out of 5 possible points, which I think is going to be excellent. And it makes me really feel like Avalanche Software is going to give us a real date once they give us an actual release date, because right now it's still saying holiday 2022. So I think once we actually get that real date, I think that they are going to be fully committed to that, and they have clearly released game after game after game after game, so they know when a game is in a good state to release. And not to mention, the games they released have been good. Most of them, the ones that we talked about today, have been good. 80% of them, in fact, have been good games. So I can safely assume that once we have a date, again, I think it's going to be the day that we're going to get. And if there is a delay, it kind of seems like it might just be like a delay on the PlayStation or a delay on the Xbox of a day or two. Or maybe they do a release schedule where it releases in a different country on a different day. So we're going to have to see about that. But definitively, they have some good games, and I think we're going to be in great hands as far as the quality and as far as how delays are going to go with Hogwarts Legacy. I really feel like we're going to be good on this one. So I'm going to definitively say that this is not definitive, but I don't think we're going to get a delay based on the information that we have now. This could change. And I do think that the game itself is going to be good overall. In the comments, let me know what you think. If you think that there's going to be delayed, or if you think it's not going to be delayed, or if you don't care and you just want the greatest game, Hogwarts possible adventure, let me know. And more content to come soon. Thanks for watching. If you liked, leave a like. Please sub. We're almost at 1,000. I would just love to hit 1,000 subbies. Peace.